Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at how we can interpret our dreams and how that can be useful to us. And since you've probably seen a couple of or many ways of interpreting them as well as interpretations and you may be confused, we're going to focus on just one method that works for everybody. And also at the end of the video I'm going to give you a bonus way to interpret the videos which can help you interpret it in a matter of seconds and give you the precise information that you need to know what to do in the next few days as well as in the future. But stay tuned until the end of the video so that you can see what it is. Now, for starters, you might be a person that hasn't actually answered the question why do you need to interpret your dreams, and we're going to look into that. Why would you need to? And consider that we're always wondering what is happening around us, and we always look for definitions of what things are, or what does this mean, and this is what we do with dreams as well. Whereas we always wonder, why did we dream that specific thing, why did we see that, why do we have that experience? And there's always something we intuitively know that something has some symbolic meaning to us, and we are always looking for what it is. And even in ancient times, senators have looked and examined their dreams because they have thought of them as messages from the gods. Also, many people have found their answers to what they were looking for in their dreams. There's many scientists that have found answers that they couldn't have found in their waking life, but once they went to sleep they found the precise answer to what they were looking for. So this is why we should use them, as well as how much of an effect they can have on our work. Now we're even going to go through some steps that will help you remember your dreams. If you're part of the people that think that they don't dream or state that you don't dream, scientists have proven that everybody dreams. It's just a difference if we remember it or not. And this is where our first steps comes in. Every night, every time we go to sleep, before we go to sleep, we repeat to ourselves that we are going to dream and remember our dream. That's an affirmation that we're going to use, and it's advisable that we use it at least 21 times so that we can affirm that belief. Now, another side note, this method is something I learned from Cogitality Academy, which in turn has taken this method from John Kehoe's The Subconscious Can Do Everything. So the first step is affirmation. It's important that we repeat it, because otherwise we don't actually guarantee for ourselves that we're going to do it. Once we repeat something, and you know this from the phrase, a lie repeated 500 times becomes the truth. So let's make that belief into a truth. It doesn't have to be a lie, it just has to be our new way of thinking, that we always dream and remember our dreams. The second part, in order to help us remember what we've dreamt after we wake up, it's advisable that we have a pen and paper in order to write down keywords on what this current dream was about. So I didn't know that, and it was kind of weird for me when I saw it as part of the exercise, but we actually wake up every single dream, and this was confirmed from my cousin who is a psychiatrist. The interesting part is that I didn't even ask about it, it just came up in a conversation, and from then on I know that we always wake up after we have a dream. There's a difference in how awake we are, but we always wake up and can wake up just enough so that we can write just one word, a couple of words, enough so that we can remind ourselves later on what the dream was about. The third part is about us not being too hasty, getting up, waking up, and going on with the day. When we wake up, it's advisable to stay calm, remain calm, and while we're still sleepy, to go back and attempt to remember what we have dreamt about. Now, all of this can work if we just ask the question, what did we dream about? Because we're so close into when we're sleepy, we're right in between both worlds, where we get the information from dreams and the logical material world that we usually experience. So we can easily transition between both. Now, After that, the most important part is writing it down. Writing it down means that we're going to explore the dream in its depth with every single aspect that we can remember. And interestingly enough, once we start writing it down, we start remembering all the small things that have happened in the dream that we usually wouldn't remember or didn't remember in the previous steps when we were just going back and remembering what the dream was about. We practically need just one picture, just one feeling, just one thought, just one emotion, so that we can go back, remember, and build up the whole puzzle of what the dream was actually about. Writing that down, writing the dream from wherever we remember it, helps us do that. And one of the most important things in the beginning is getting a title. The title has an important significance because that is our associative memory to what the dream is about. Once we have a title, we can remember the whole dream and its interpretation in the matter of 2 to 3 words, because this is our own associative thinking. And I found it somewhere, I don't remember where, but the associative memory is the strongest memory of the brain. So use your associative memory. And furthermore, we're going into the next step, which is even more diving into the associative memory, symbolism. Everything that stands out, every person, every single object, everything that we see clearly, feel more, give it more attention. That single object, however it stands out, has an importance to us in that dream. What we have to do is write it down and then put what its symbolic meaning to us is. Now, it's important that we interpret it from our own perspective, since everybody has their own different logic, which means that we can consult with other sources, consult with other dream interpreters, but the basis of what the symbolism of that specific object is what we give it. We can't really change it, it's our own logic. We can adapt somebody else's logic, but it's still our logic, and we always use our logic. Now, an important part for the actual interpretation of people. There can be 3 types where we know them but they don't look the same, or we don't know them at all. I would just like to go in depth to that as well, because it seems that it's important for us to realize how we can use those images. In order to get the best interpretation from dreams, it's advisable that we interpret the people that we know through their worst behavior that they have from our point of view. Since dreams are a reflection of us, this is the best way that we can see what our mistakes are and how we can fix them. And looking into what we think people have as their worst characteristic is the best way to see what our mistakes are. If we stray from that way of interpretation, we're prone to distort the information and probably get something wrong, as well as the conclusion of what we should do. It's not always fun, but it provides positive results in the end after we take action. If we dream about people that we know but they don't look the same, usually in that case the idea is to take an aspect that they represent for us in our life. If we don't know the person that we're dreaming about and we're having an interaction, we should take the aspect of what they are representing in that specific dream. For example, as it turns out for me, newcomers in the company that I work represent responsibility and tasks. Since I prepare their hardware as well as their accounts, for me, every time somebody new comes to the company, I'm the one that prepares their workstations, and I get tickets, tasks as well to prepare their hardware, as well as for me, that's a responsibility to have it prepared before they start. And this is how a newcomer for me represents the aspects of responsibility and tasks. Now, after you have your interpretations ready and your symbolism ready on your dictionary, after you write down your dream, you can see what the dream actually means and what its representation to our current life and situation is. You can follow the symbolism linearly, as well as the actions. You can see what is actually happening. The dreams can often provide the mistakes in our mindset as well as our habits that are preventing us from moving forward, as well as advice on how we can fix those. And in most cases, what happens to me is once I wake up, I already know what the dream means and I already have a solution on how I can fix it. This is based on 3 years of practice where I have interpreted my dreams every single morning after I wake up. And now this brings us to the bonus of how you can interpret them in a matter of seconds. And the answer is intuition. Our intuitive thinking is the pieces of information that is 100% right 100% of the times that we receive it, and more or less we don't manage to use it, or we don't have the habit of reacting accordingly when we receive such information. And this is me giving you an opportunity to develop a habit of listening to the intuition and reacting positively in prime time when it comes forward. Once we wake up, like we said, we are between both worlds, in the material world and the information world, where we have dreamt and seen all the information that we're going to need to develop a better life. In those few seconds, even if you prolong it, it doesn't really matter as long as you stay in that state. If you ask what's your dream or dreams mean, you're going to receive a precise but specific and meaningful interpretation and meaning of what the dream was, as well as what you're supposed to do. It doesn't always have to be in words. It can be in feeling, emotion, idea, whatever you are most open to. This is something that you should consider. The intuitive information always comes in the form of what you're most open to accepting. And you can even try it out. Later, after you get up, you can even try to interpret that dream into the method that we have looked into in this video, and you will see that it's the most precise and well-formed answer to what the dream interpretation is. And even in my cases, I haven't been able to make a better interpretation than the one that's comes from the intuitive one. A big mistake that we make after we interpret our dreams is neglect them and don't accept them as something serious or as a responsibility. This is a huge mistake, because if we don't do them, we're going to have nightmares at some point and we're going to have difficulties moving forward. Which is why the best advice for dream interpretation is take action on it. And that's what you can do. If you're looking for guidelines on how to interpret your dreams with examples, you can look up some of the videos that there are in this channel for dream interpretations, as well as use the file that I have for myself with my dreams, where I interpret my dreams daily, so that you can have it and have an example, in which case I hope you find it useful. From here on, I'm leaving you to dream and interpret. Goodbye.